Om Namo Bhagavate Ram Krishnaya. Om. Salutations to Bhagavan Ram Krishna. Slowing down thoughts. Well, we are constantly scrolling. We're constantly busy. We want things fast. Everything is moving fast and fast. Technology is driving us. And we know what's is driving us to what? At times to despair. We need to slow down things. Everybody speaks about need to slow down. How do you slow yourself down? Because your thoughts are racing. There's so much of data coming in. Your brain is simply kind of overwhelmed with so many things coming in. And as a result, we sift through things. It's very kind of subconscious, and we scroll through the inconsequential, the unimportant, and we zero in for something that holds our attention for a couple of maybe seconds or minutes, and that's off. We all speak also so fast, including me at times, of course. And when we speak fast, we don't listen to ourselves, nor we do listen to others. And that makes things complicated. So the brain is an energy intensive organ. It uses about 15% of our entire energy requirements. Yeah. And with all that energy that's being kind of consumed, otherwise the brain will not simply work. You think that it could be kind of light inside, and we see pictures, animations of neurons firing. It's kind of lovely. Nothing like that. It's all dark inside, completely. The brain is a nice, soft, mushy organ sitting in fluid and in the dark. But that's what it is. So, and depends on your state of mind. At times, the brain simply is running about. Actually, it's more like it's on autopilot. We think we're going to control the brain. Sorry, too bad. Forget about it. It's on autopilot. And being on autopilot and being an energy saver, it's a great energy saver. Oh my God, there's nothing like the brain. Though it uses all this energy, it knows how to save energy. And it does so by organizing and reorganizing itself according to patterns. And the moment it organizes itself into patterns, it seeks patterns outside. Yes. So it's a pattern recognition software that runs us. So things which are in a pattern is quickly understood. So as we say, it also develops a pattern. Either you use it or lose it, as they say. The neurons are constantly trimming and retrimming themselves, forming new connections. The brain is by nature very conservative because it's an energy saver and runs on patterns. But it's also very plastic, and that's the word that's now being touted about everywhere: neuroplasticity. which is a good thing. So when we are going to meditate, what happens? You have to lay down a new pattern. It's as simple as that. And initially, as the brain is very conservative, it will resist you. To develop a new habit, laying down the neural networks, it takes some people 12 days, 12 to about 60 days, depends on the intensity of your need. I mean, a habit that's kind of robustly laid down so that the mind can run through those channels. And once it is done, then meditation becomes easy. That being said, there are people who have been practicing meditation for years and saying, my mind is restless. It shouldn't have been restless given that you have laid down a pattern. Okay, even though you've laid down the pattern, you're going too fast. You got to slow it down with awareness. You know, anything can be understood if you break it down into parts, smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. That's how science works. It keeps on breaking down parts, fragments, takes up a small, and then builds up a comprehensive picture of a particular thing. The same way we need to approach meditation. Okay. Now, before we can go into this, let's take take up a small exercise. Please close your eyes, sit down straight, stretch your spine. Take a long, deep breath, please, and exhale similarly. Now feel how you have clasped your fingers or how your fingers are interlocked. Become aware at the same time of your feet on the floor, or if you're sitting cross legged, become aware. Now become aware of the pressure of the chair on your body. Become aware of the touch of your clothes on you, on your skin. Become of your entire body now. And be perfectly still. There shouldn't be a slightest movement. Feel yourself expanding. Now become aware of the motion of your breath. Be perfectly still and become aware of your breath. Relax all your facial muscles, please. Feel a sense of peace within. Okay, slowly relax. Become aware of your breath. Become aware of you sitting in a chair or on a seat. Take long, deep breaths. And you can open your eyes. What we did just now is something called a task bracketing. You break up a task into smaller parts and do that part perfectly. And once this habit is laid down, nothing is going to change that. It's take for instance, even though you are stressed and you're distressed and the things going on, you haven't slept, but you'll wake up in the morning and brush your teeth and have your breakfast. These are old neural habits laid down. You can't get away from it. Of course, you can, but task bracketing is you do it this way or you don't do it. So when you lay down a sequence, and if you keep on practicing it the same way for a few days, you are laying down a method for the mind to get into a state of flow. This is very important in meditation because we are just rushing about and then when we sit down to meditate, we want to rush about. We want to get enlightenment very quickly. I've got to really put on all the motors on. No, that putting on all engines not, not going to help. You need to slow yourself down. Take everything. Take, for instance, when we read also, and we have learned to speed read also. Take the first few words in a sentence or in a line and the last, and you somehow intuit what's in the middle. Yes, it's true. You can do it. Swamiji was an expert in that. But that Swamiji's brain power was different. So we skim through things. Now, suppose you go through each and every word deliberately, you're going to get a different level of understanding of that same passage that you read. Oh, yes. Now, while doing japa, that is repeating the name of God, it's the same as if God is going to be pleased if you're going to do a little more. 108, oh, let's do 108 more. And oh, I've got 2 minutes, I'll do another 100. You're not, you're not doing, you're not doing anything, any good for yourself now to your practice. Do it slowly. And once you do it slowly, as I said, every sound has a meaning and a resultant knowledge. These three things are completely distinct processes in the brain, in the mind that's running. You hear a word, and that word, the sound is always associated with a meaning, and then comes a flash of knowledge. So if you just skim through things, run through things, that associated meaning and the knowledge does not flash. So that's why it is good to even do the repetition of God's name slowly. In fact, what is meditation? Meditation is nothing but stilling the mind. And what we did just now was a process where you're going to still the mind through your body because you know your body more than your mind. We take what we know, what we can grasp, what you can understand. Not that we understand too much of our bodies inside. Yeah, we don't know how the proteins are folding in the cells. Do you know? Huh, huh. It's mind boggling. Those insights will come later. So, the next thing we know is our breath. Once the body is held still, the breath also becomes still. You will find in perfect stillness, both the nostrils operate fluidly. When we are angry, your breath comes like a bellows from the right side. When we are lazy or sleeping, or even if you're feeling very, you can say, lassitude, you will find it, you're breathing more on the left side, left nostril. When you meditate, both the nostrils are breathing equally. That is, both these psychic nerve currents, as we have mentioned, the Ida and the Pingala, they become active. So, this much you know, and this much you can grasp. And this is what you need to do to slow down your thoughts. There are thousands of thoughts running through our minds every minute. We are aware of it, some of it. We are not aware of many of it because there are levels called the pre-conscious, the conditioned conscious, then we have the subconscious levels, plenty. This technically also, according to Vedanta, means it is work because you are putting an effort to do something. It's, and it is recognized that physical work is the lowest. I mean, it's powerful. It's the most powerful thing in this universe. What? Karma. What? Karma. And you are the doer of karma. Yes. In fact, one of our ancient philosophies, which is rooted in the Vedas, it's called a Purva Mimamsa. They have eliminated everything else and placed the doctrine of karma and its power center stage, saying you can get anything with karma. So it's a very powerful. I don't know what people don't use it in. That's because we're running fast after everything. The next higher karma is mental karma. Thoughts, ideas. Ideas move the world. Oh, yeah. Then we have a higher aspect of intellectual work. Of course, it's related to ideas, but intellectual work is even more powerful. And the highest is spiritual work. All the spiritual work done by all the spiritual people has a lasting impact on the world, on people. Oh, yes. So this slowing down of things comes into kind something called a spiritual work. It's very powerful if you can do it properly. Like I said, the karma is very powerful. Spiritual work is even more powerful. And this is what you must understand. You must have that kind of a reminder. Yeah, what I'm doing is extremely powerful, not only to me, because karma affects me. I'm molding and remolding my body and my brain and my thoughts. Yes, I am laying down not only new patterns, I am reforming my brain and my body. Because it's thoughts that sculpt a body. It is thoughts that sculpt your brain, it's thoughts that sculpt your patterns. So laying down a pattern, and you've got to do it sequentially, slowly, step by step. Meditation is stillness. So this is how you come to stillness. In one of our earlier talks, I had spoken about the Doppler effects of thoughts on the mind. Like you are an observer, and a thought comes from one of the areas of the mind. And as it approaches you, there's a loud wow. And then as it leaves you and departs, there's a whine. So the, the waves kind of are compressed and then the waves are expanded here. In this slowing of the mind, we need to slow down even that approaching thought so that the thought approaches you, stays for a while, and then leaves you. How does it help you? It helps you in concentration first. You see, what happens is the mind works on something called memory and imagination. It's called smriti and sankalpa. So to keep the mind in the present is nothing but meditation. So you've eliminated that leaning of the mind to run down old pathways, old, you can say, patterns. You bring it back, and it has conceived of my and your and others' futures in a kind of a grandiose way. The mind has to be brought there also, weaned away from there, and kept in the present moment and still. And if you can't do that, the illustration in Bhagavad Gita is given like a lamp that's placed in a windless place, unflickering. Such is the illustration of the mind of a yogi who is meditating. So, until and unless we don't slow it down to a crawl, yes, you can slow it down to a crawl. You will see thoughts emerge. In one of, I think I'll deal with this in one of our future classes. I have dealt with before. You will see thoughts when they first bubble up, like something bubbling up from the bottom of a lake, rising up. And as it rises, then that bubble grows larger, air bubble, and then it bursts on the surface. You will see thoughts emerging like this. You've slowed down. So if when you sit down to meditate, like we did it just now, break it down into segments, parts, and do that each segment very perfectly. Do one segment perfectly. Sit down still. That's the principle. And I went through the entire concept, trying to bring your awareness back to yourself because the awareness is dispersed all over the place to bring your awareness. So you're stilling your awareness with the consciousness of your body and the consciousness of your breath. And then you become consciousness centered in, say, a mantra. So we'll take this practice up now. Okay. We will go through the old sequence and I'll add another kind of a small mantra. We repeat it slowly. Okay? Yeah. Sit down straight again and stretch your spine, please. And yeah, keep your neck straight. Keep your chin level with it. Close your eyes, please. Become aware of how you've laced your fingers. Become aware of your feet on the floor. Become aware of the pressure of the chair on which you are sitting, or the sofa, or anything else. Become aware of the sensation of touch of your clothes on you. Become aware of your entire body now. And be perfectly still. Relax all your facial muscles. Become aware of your breath. Your diaphragm rises and falls. The chest expands, contracts. Breath flows to the nostrils. Yeah, become perfectly still. Become aware that your breath also has slowed down. Now you mentally repeat after me. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Keep on repeating this slowly. Go even slower. while thinking of its meaning. Om salutations to Shiva. Okay, relax, please. Take long, deep breaths, and you can slowly unwind and open your eyes. One thing it does is, if you've noticed, the wild gyrations of the mind have become stilled. And as you keep on slowing the mind, a kind of wonderful phenomena happens. You get into a kind of a, because of that concentration, because of that slow mode of the mind, you get into a kind of a flow. It is, it call it a flow, it's okay, but then it is more like a kind of a trance like state. In ordinary trances, you have no control over it at all. But in this, I'm talking about trance like, you get into a different level of the mind. You will notice it, and you will have complete control over it. Perfect control. Your awareness has become into concentration, and that kind of releases its power. You will feel powerful. It's only we have just let ourselves unharnessed. Swami Vivekananda says, it's easy to let go of the reins and let the horses run. It's okay. That's fast, yeah. But it takes greater strength to hold the reins and pull the horses back. It's easy to let go, Sit down and you might crash somewhere. Pulling the reins, holding it in check, is nothing but slowing down the mind. Don't think it is a kind of a negative state. Oh, oh, yeah, trying to slow it down. Yeah, kind of. Yeah, anyway, I'm slow anyway. I'm a slow learner. I'm a slow worker. I'm a slow comprehender. I'm a slow this. No, that's that's not what I mean. In this, you go slow. You have perfect control over it. This is the power that you will feel rising up. The power of control. You are slowing down things because you're controlling things. And that is something we all need in meditation. Every, don't rush into it. If you have 5 minutes, use 5 minutes slowly, deliberately. If you had 10 minutes, please do it slowly. You don't even have to go to the entire routine you're used to. I mean, if you're used to a routine of 15 minutes or 20 minutes, don't try to compress everything in that 5 minutes or 10 minutes. Don't. Take a segment and do it properly. And you see the results. Amazing. I mean, we have get, like I said, you're using karma, the sense of a doer, in order to control that very karma itself. And that slowing of thoughts slows the mind, it slows your breath, it makes your body still. And that is what we want. Okay. So, this much for now. This is one of the ways do you approach meditation. See, like I said, next week, next Friday, we'll look at another aspect of how you can enhance this mode of. So we are looking at this subject of meditation through different perspectives, different, not only perspectives, I'm giving you a methodology. Do it like this, you'll get it. And once you can get it, you will never regret it. So, that being said, we'll open up everything for the questions. So, those who are on Zoom can type in your questions, send it to everyone. Those who are on YouTube can also type in. Yeah, say something, slow mode is on. While they are typing in to slow mode, there are some who are slow to. We can take some questions up here. Yeah, Sally. Uh, yeah.
I found your what you said really struck a chord because I tend to rush through things,
Mm.
and so I felt like this was an awakening for me. This, what you just said.
Yeah, we all rush into things, but at least meditation, we don't need to rush in. They say people rush in where angels fear to tread. So at least your your body and your nervous system needs that slowing down things. Otherwise, you're going to fragment. All that stress is just kind of killing us. And besides, the best way to bust your stress is this. Oh yeah, the best. It's going to be used by everybody because all your medications and your vitamins are not doing anything good. Okay, we've got some few questions here, Wilsa. Could you please re-explain the part that we all know karma has a strong hold on us and practices of slowing down, stilling the mind have a greater impact? Yeah. Karma on the physical level is powerful. See how we have redesigned this this entire place. This place wasn't existing like it was. It was raw nature. People came and transformed this. We have transformed trees and plants and even animals, even the favorite dogs. They are all tinkered by humans. This is a powerful demonstration of what we can do on the physical plane. It's karma. This world has been transformed by us, and some people are dumping in more and more carbon. So it's that also is changing things. But higher than just physical karma is mental karma. Can oh yes, your mind can affect other minds. Just remember this. Let it hit you. Think of it and you will understand it. Your mind can affect other minds. We intuit other minds. We feel other minds. Take, for instance, you're walking down the street and a mile away somebody is looking at you. You turn and look at that very person. They may be 100%, but your gaze will go straight to that person. This is the person who is looking at me. Of course, there are theories called extended mind, etc. But you are in constant communion with the rest of the world outside. So the mind, you can say karma is powerful, then ideas, then the intelligence, and then the spiritual world. So the higher you go, the subtle has more power. That's the hundreds of verses in all the scriptures. Sanskrit scriptures. They speak what is more internal is more pervasive, more subtle, and more powerful. So that is what is. If you can still the mind, knowledge will flash from itself. Because Swami Vivekananda said, the entire library of the universe exists in the mind. Friction is necessary to bring out that knowledge. Okay. So, how do you do karma? Pay attention to what you do, and that makes the work powerful. Okay. Can you please make an audio to listen to calm mind and fall asleep like yoga nidra? Oh my dear. Okay. I'll tell you what. Yoga is the opposite of nidra. That nidra means sleep. Sleep of yoga. Yoga is to be awake, hyper awake. There is something called a yoga nidra. When God, just before creation, he's in the state of the sleep of yoga, where the entire universe sleeps within God. And that sleep is broken by the Divine Mother. There emerges entire creation. So, what you could do is, I mean, I'm not trying to disparage or discourage you because sleep is important. But yeah, no, it's being used now by many militaries also to de-stress people. The yoga nidra is being used as an antidote for post-traumatic stress disorder. So briefly, you could do it yourself. You see, you don't depend on everything on me. You could do it yourself. You record. Think that you're lying down, if you like, on the beach with the bright sun, okay, or in the on the grassy, you can say lawn or something like that. There's no one, and slowly each and every part of your body, starting from your toes, you become aware of it, or become aware of your toes, flex it, release it, and then go to your ankle, flex it, release it, go to your calf, flex it, release it. So slowly flow all over your body, and then you relax and feel the sound of the waves washing over you, waves of bliss. Okay, I've given you. I think when I was in LA, I did a kind of a, I spoke on yoga nidra. However, you could try it and then we could, it really helps. After slowing mind for a few minutes, can we go to japa? We are used to at the same slow pace. Yes. What we did now was using japa, the mantra, to still the mind. If you can do it stilling the mind and then do japa, great. But stilling, slowing the mind through a repetition is much more concrete for slowing the mind. So that's the reason why we put it like. If you can do it, like I said, good enough. Yeah. Will the slowness not put a person to sleep? How to get? Oh yeah, please. Like I said, no. Once you become, you're slowing the mind. All the power of the mind is awakened. I agree. We just talked about the patterns. Just before you are falling asleep, just before falling, your mind becomes very calm. You noticed, and then the mind knows, now it is calm. The next I know, it's going to sleep. Go to sleep, and then you're sitting down to meditate. The mind has become calm, you're slowed down calm, and the mind knows next, I'll fall asleep. And I also spoke about a habit. To break one old habit, you put a new habit, and that is putting a new neural path. Once you can do that, then it will break that the habit of the mind that when it is calm, it must fall asleep. So when it is calm, you must meditate. So there are two ways. You know you won't fall asleep, and remember, uh, this is one of the biggest. The first and the biggest obstacle to meditation is sleep. Laya. This is called laya, and then the next is vikshepa, restlessness. So once you can conquer that, oh my God, you really conquered. I think, yeah, well, thank you very much. And we see you again next Friday on another aspect of this approaching meditation, which will be kind of easy. We know it is just, I just spell it out, and then you'll say, oh, that's easy. And Sunday morning, 10 a.m. talk will be on Swami Premananda. We had his birthday on the 1st of December, and we are go- it's going to be an avatar's associate. So that is really amazing. Anyway, Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Ram Krishna Arpanamastu. So here we are go.